At first glance, smoke and whiskey might seem like distant cousins. After all, true Scotch aficionados often prize pure, unadulterated malt. Yet today's cocktail scene has given rise to a hidden world of smoked whiskey. In high-end bars you might see an old-fashioned arriving under a glass dome of curling smoke. It's not just theatre, the smoke actually transforms the drink. Burning wood releases phenols, guaiacol, syringal and other aromatic compounds that infuse deep, earthy and even sweet notes into the whiskey. These molecules play on our senses. The first inhale of smoky aroma primes the palate before the sip. As one whiskey smoking guide puts it, smoke transforms flavor on a molecular level, making cocktails a multi-sensory experience. But here's the secret most bourbon sippers don't know: the choice of wood is everything. A gentle applewood smoke can make a cocktail sing, while the wrong wood can ruin a fine whiskey. We'll explore exactly why, from mild fruitwoods to wild mesquite, and reveal the one wood few drinkers have tried that could change everything. Smoked whiskey isn't a centuries-old tradition in most spirits, it's a modern mixology trend borrowing from age-old techniques. Bartenders began lighting wood chips tableside or using smoking guns to infuse cocktails with smoke. The idea took off because it adds layers of flavor and drama. In practice, smoke doesn't burn the alcohol off, but bonds with the liquid. When wood burns, it emits aromatic compounds that stick to the glass and the drink. These include the same phenols and guaiacol that peat brings to Islay whiskey. In fact, guaiacol is responsible for the classic, smoky note in peated Scotch. By choosing different woods, mixologists can introduce those compounds on demand, like cherrywood for a fruity hint, oak for a classic barrel character. Critically, smoke affects aroma far more than taste. Our perception of flavor is mostly olfactory, so that first smoky nose can make a drink taste completely different. A swirl of smoke in a cocktail glass wakes up the senses in a way that straight whiskey alone cannot. That's why chefs and bartenders love smoking drinks. It adds umami, nostalgia, and excitement. Think campfires, cozy fireplaces, barbecue, all evoked by smoke. What's next? We'll start with the gentlest smoke of all, applewood, often the favorite for beginners. Smoke is gentle and sweet, a natural intro to smoked whiskey. It burns cleanly with a light fragrance of baked apple and vanilla. In tasting notes, apple-smoked bourbon or cocktails are often described as smooth, mellow and subtly fruity. Flavor profile: sweet, mellow smoke with hints of vanilla and caramel. Pros: pairs beautifully with sweeter whiskeys, bourbons, Tennessee whiskey, and rich cocktails. It adds complexity without overpowering. Novices love it, because it feels familiar, like an oak-aged whiskey with an extra dessert note. In fact, applewood complements the natural vanilla caramel in bourbon, deepening it. Cons: because applewood is so mild, heavy-handed smoking yields little noticeable effect. It can be overshadowed by strong spirits or over-smoking. Best pairings: applewood smoke is classic with bourbon and W-heated whiskey. It also works with rye or sweeter Irish whiskies, and with cocktails featuring warm spices or maple. Craft guides note that applewood complements Tennessee whiskey and other soft whiskies. Many craft distillers use applewood to infuse a hint of smoke. For example, Iron Smoke Distillery in New York smokes some of its grain with local applewood to give their bourbon a gentle, non-overpowering campfire nuance. The result is a whisper of smoke, just enough to notice, but never choking out the whiskey. Teaser: next we'll see how cherrywood turns up the fruitiness. While apple is sweet and tame, cherry smoke brings a bright, floral fire. Cherrywood adds a clean, fruity sweetness. Its smoke smells of ripe cherries and wood-fired fruit pies. Many bartenders describe cherrywood smoke as bright, beautiful, clean, giving whiskeys a layer of orchard-like sweetness. Flavor profile: lightly sweet and fruity smoke, with hints of red berries and vanilla. Pros: gives cocktails a fragrant complexity. Cherry smoke tends to be gentle enough for beginners yet interesting for enthusiasts. It can accentuate fruit notes already in a whiskey or add a perfumed lift to a cocktail. Sonoma Distilling calls it a clean burn and loves the local cherry flavor it imparts. Cons: on very delicate spirits, cherry smoke can be faint. If overdone, it can taste like burnt fruit or too sweet, potentially clashing with heavily spicy whiskeys. Best pairings: cherrywood smoke pairs well with W-heated bourbons, milder Irish whiskies, and lighter cocktails. It's often recommended for cocktails like a fruity old-fashioned or Manhattan. On the pairing list, cherry is noted as a match for W-heated bourbons and lighter whiskey styles. Expert insight: Sonoma Distilling's whiskey maker says cherry-smoked whiskey has a sense of place. The local cherrywood adds a unique signature. He notes that unless you use oak, other woods, like cherry, can burn bright and clean. In short, cherrywood smoke is noticeable but not muddy. It gently modifies the flavor without erasing it.